The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees all things new. I'm Nato Agbayani and I'm streaming live from Quezon City. Good evening. This is Para sa Bayan on the new channel. Hello, you're still watching Para sa Bayan here on the new channel. I'd just like to remind everybody it's 36 days before Christmas, so Merry Christmas, everyone. All right, so this is our last episode for the season, for season 2 of Para sa Bayan. This is episode 26, no, of our of season 1 and 2. And hopefully, we will come back with even better shows here on Para sa Bayan with Nato Agbayani. So today, we will be discussing sustainable agriculture for the Philippines. And of course, about food security, which we need most, no, for almost 110 million Filipinos here in the Philippines and of course, some of them abroad. Today, we will be having a new guest, no? Her name's Noemi Liangco. She's president of the Amancio Nicolas Holding Corporation, the Amancio Nicolas Agri Tourism Academy. She used to franchise McDonald's also in Centro Mall and Marton Mall in Santiago City, and also she was a franchisee for Shell Petroleum in Santiago and Cordon Isabela. She was past member and board of regents of the Isabela State University. She is the consistent, outstanding top taxpayer of course, Cordon, and she's the outstanding citizen, no, of San Martin, Isabela, and also she has Doctor of Humanities honoris causa. But currently, of course, she graduated in the Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, major in Animal Husbandry in the Isabela State University. And she also took her Master of Science in Animal Science in Isabela's ISU, no? Isabela State University. Currently, she is taking her postgrad, her doctorate in the Medyo University International College, for her doctorate in tourism management in Indonesia. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Noemi Liangco of Amancio Nicolas Farms. Yeah, okay. Hello, Noemi. How are
Good
you?
evening, Nato. I'm good. Thank you for
Good
having
evening.
me.
Good evening. So earlier I introduced you. I said some things about you, and now maybe we visited your farm, no, just recently, and it was really a very great experience, no. And I'd like to understand maybe how were you able to, what was your journey, how you started the farm and the agricultural training center, and even the production for dairy for Carabao's milk. Could you tell us more about it?
Yeah, thank you, Nato. I think
Sure.
we always go back to to the passion we have grown up with. Magsasaka kasi kami Nato,
Mm.
from um, since time immemorial dun kami namulat sa
Right.
pagsasaka. So along
Mm.
the journey, nagnegosyo, nag
Yes.
nakatapos, you always go back to that comfort zone,
Right.
farming.
Mm.
So early 2000 something, we acquired this very beautiful farm, and
Okay.
it is integration of all the components of agriculture, animals, plants,
Mm-hmm.
water, clean air. It's a total picture of a biodiversity, which should be the sustainable agriculture that we were talking about. Fundamentally, is anchored with.
Right. Right. So in this farm, you found all the everything. Merong body of water, merong of course livestock, and then trees, and of course produce. So how long did it take to really nako kumbaga reach that kumbaga optimal use of the place of the farm.
We started way back uh, 2005 or earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The lesson is that we cannot rush nature. It
Okay.
it takes time.
Yes.
Time is an element for us to see nature working synergically in perfect harmony together. So my point being is that this is now 2022.
Mm-mm.
Uh, we now see the farm in harmony with environment, with the integration of plant and animals.
Yes.
Now I can call it, we now can picture in the course of our operation what we call a tiny circular economy, meaning within our environment, we have all that we need to sustain a process of food
Mm-hmm.
production,
Right.
of maintaining the genes or the species of the
Yes.
plants and animals that we would like to grow. That is fundamental kasi nato
Mm.
in securing food for human like us.
Yeah.
So that exactly now is what we can picture when you come here at the farm.
Oo nga, eh. Well, there are a lot of farms in the Philippines, maybe some in other areas, in other provinces. What would you say makes your farm, or what you're doing in the farm, the processes that you're doing in the farm, unique from the common farms that you see here and there in the Philippines?
We need to set aside modesty when I address your question,
Yes, please.
Nata, because one of the major factor why the farm is it is what it is now is that I am an agriculturist and I
Yes, yes.
know what I am talking about.
Mm-mm.
I know what it takes to really maintain, sustain a farm
Mm-mm.
like this, and the price to pay to make sure that the production, marketing,
Mm-hmm.
activities will continue because it
Mm-mm.
takes a lot more than other people would see from the outside. The
You're right.
people that we would like to impact with and work for, like the farmers, I call them stakeholders.
Yes. Oh.
To this point, I think I would like to mention that it is now one of the major challenge
Mm.
to hurdle with because
Mm.
we are faced with a lot of competition in terms of their understanding of the significance of farmers because of various consequences
Mm-mm.
or influences.
Yeah.
We both know that Nato, our country
Mm-mm.
is one of the developing among Asians,
Yes.
and we are basically geographically should be an agriculture rich, but up to now we are thriving on imports, while
Yeah.
there should be also an opportunity to not as the statistics that we are in now, and that is why
Mm-mm.
the shift in the conversation of
Mm-mm.
farming sustainably, taking care
Mm-mm.
of the environment, I think nato must one of the major issues that should be brought to the conversation table
Mm-mm.
amongst all of us stakeholders, especially naman yung mga kagaya ninyo na
Mm-mm.
Nato, I know that you are a public servant. All of
Yes.
us are on this together. If there is one relevant conversation now that we all should be uh, unite, united
Mm-mm.
to address
Yeah.
is agriculture, food
That's
sustainability,
yeah.
environment. I do not need to expound on that Nato because we all know
Mm-mm. Yeah.
what is happening.
When we had I think I invited the president of the Philippine Rural Reconstruction Movement, si former priest, no, Ed De La Torre, and when we were discussing, sabi ko, ano ba yung what happens to agriculture now if you need to rebuild the countryside? What would it take, no? So parang he was saying, ano lang, segue ko lang. He was saying na, alam mo, there's this model of agriculture in China. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that when they say reconstruct the rural areas, they mean not just, ano ba yung produce, ano yung kaya nating gawin, etc. But the entire ecosystem, the infrastructure, even internet to support the reconstruction of agriculture. Now, maybe the reason why I'm asking, or the reason why I'm saying that is because we're talking about food security for 100 million Filipinos. And right now, maybe, shall we say, you mention mo nga, we are importing even the most staple of our resources, no? So when you say sustainable agriculture and tiny circular economy, how does this impact, or how do you think this can transform the lives of, first, the farmers, the key stakeholders, and then of course the entire country? I mean, your advocacy, I know, is yan nga, yung mga tiny circular economy. How do you think should we proceed, no? I mean, given the yan nga, imports, and then the monopolies and things like that, that's really giving, even the demand and supply, and the entire supply chain of agriculture is, uh, I don't know what to call the term, lopsided or skewed. What do you think, Noemi?
Fundamentally, we need to consider that there are majority of us
Mm.
living in the rural areas.
Yes.
Right now, our country as a whole, we cannot sit down in a conversation squarely and fairly
Mm-mm.
versus that of nations which are already developed in terms of gross domestic product.
Mm-mm.
But there is a conversation that we can be heard and we can contribute,
Mm-mm.
and that is what we call, I would like to quote yung research ni Michael Green of the
Yes.
United Nations SDG
Oo.
something 2030. We call it the Social Progress Index. Social Progress Index
Mm-mm.
talks about the well-being of each inhabitants in a country.
Mm-mm.
Michael Green anchored this in his research. or regarding Costa Rica.
Okay.
Is Philippines be able to join a conversation as a contributor in the sustainable goal of the United Nations zero poverty in 2030?
Yes.
I would like to figuratively answer the way he answers that. My
Mm-hmm.
answer is maybe, Nato. If
Oo.
we can focus on the social progress index, well-being of us 80% here in the countryside, how does that
Mm-mm.
work?
Yeah.
Tiny circular economy. Imagine a household here in Isabela ay hindi kumakatok sa tindahan ng grocery
Kapitbahay. Oo.
umagang-umaga at
Oo.
umuutang o bumibili ng pagkain niya. I do
Yeah.
not want to mention some kind of foods because
Mm-mm.
hindi natin kalaban ang
Yeah.
factory, hindi natin kalaban ang mga food giants. We need them and they need us also. The
True,
point
true.
being is this: when we empower the backyard farmer to
Mm-mm.
be part of that system, we call it tiny circular economy, then there is a balance of
Mm-mm.
production versus consumerism.
Right. Capitalism and all these
Yes, yeah, the
excesses.
Marxist
Right.
theory,
Right.
something like that. In
Oh.
Thailand, I am part of a major university community in Thailand.
Okay.
We are now talking about tiny circular economy. And that is why I am so passionate talking it to talking that matter of issue in my community, because
Mm.
when we are noisy about that and people will be aware that yes indeed, if the 84% poverty as we call it empower
Mm.
themselves to grow their own food the sustainable way, then I think we can go to that conversation table that hey, United Nations, we are in, but we are not here to talk about gross domestic product. We are
Right.
here to give you data that we also, like in Costa Rica, can impact on the majority of our people because
Mm.
United Nations, hello, majority of us already are into production sustainably, growing our own food in our environment.
Mm. That's
That
right.
is the conversation that I would dream all of us will be noisy about, Nato.
Yeah. Alam mo, I don't know if you remember that book, Small is Beautiful.
Maski naman
It's
malalaki, beautiful, Nato.
no, I
The
mean,
joke lang,
uh,
joke lang.
oh, it discusses the ano, the simplicity of things, nature, how you know
Yeah,
how yun nga, yung you were mentioning tiny circular economy, no? But tiny circular economy also entails redesigning, no? Unlearning the things we've learned. Um,
rebranding, reboot, rebuild.
yeah,
There's a
exactly.
lot
So
of tag
I
words.
think it will really take ano no it will really take shall we say an evangelist of sorts to really push this, no, but of course the discussions are there already, and I think um it runs in parallel with, of course, campaigns for the earth, for mother nature, and mahaba, no, carbon credits and all those things. But in a simple manner, for example, how do you manifest, for example, in a regular household? Alam mo naman, di ba, when they distributed the land in the Philippines, land reform law, it's like 5 hectares each. So in that module, how do you? I just don't want to sound no, so alien to our audiences, pero ganun no, ganung modeling. For example, a 5 hectare farm na right now it's subsistence farming, no. How do you model that? How do you model the tiny circular economy at this point, because the land holdings in practically the entire yung mga agrarian reform beneficiaries, the ARBs, that's about it. That's 5 hectares. And of course there are plans to consolidate this, ano, no, parang Malaysian model, no. But currently, how do you manifest that in that small 5 hectare module?
I'd like to pick up from the 5 hectare model that you
Mm.
made mention.
Hmm.
Any area of land
Mm-mm.
is immaterial when the stakeholders do not understand what they are getting into. Take
Right.
for example, yung mga nabigyan ng 5 hectares land holding.
Mm-mm.
It takes a lot to educate people to love what they do. In
Mm-mm.
order to get into that loving what we do, it takes a lot of understanding, education. That's why I am doing what I am doing. 'Di ba, Nato? Wala
Yes,
naman
yes.
pa tayo. I don't want to get very negative. But
Mm-mm.
correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I did not see it. I did
Mm-mm.
not see it in the impact volume or
Mm-mm.
benchmark a
Mm-mm.
success story of a sustainable farm in a 5 hectare uh, land holdings.
Mm-mm.
Why is that? Because the land distribution is one thing,
Mm-mm.
whether to execute it the way it was intended originally is
Yes.
another major thing. And that is
Mm-mm.
why we, with my team, I am starting a team here in the Philippines
Mm-mm.
via educating the farmers here at the farm.
Yes.
And what I am participating in Thailand, my alma mater now for my graduate degree.
Mm-mm.
And the differentiator nato is the decision to embrace what it takes to
Mm-mm.
participate in sustainable farming. There should be a decision to participate or to make it work,
Right.
because the giving away of the land from our government is a good move, but the stakeholders,
Yeah.
are they
Pre-
decided to participate in the
Prepared.
original intention of the grant of the land? That is the separating line. And that is why in our module, if we exclude those farm families, let's say for example, those who are living in a 500 square meter backyard, then maybe we are not addressing well, because majority of us ay walang 5 hectare na land
Yeah.
holding to till.
Yes.
Galing
Oh.
ka dito sa farm. Right
Mm-mm.
now, kung mag-iingay yung manok ko dahil gabi na, malalaman ng ating audience na
Right.
ako ay nakatira sa what I call a chicken house.
Right. Right.
And every inch of land around the
The
chicken
farm.
house where I live, I
Mm.
choose to live in this tiny area to
Mm-mm.
model that there is also something that we can do in a 500 square meter area.
Right.
Kumbaga, di ba nakita mo rito na to,
Mm-mm. Yes.
nililimit namin yung semento. Kasi ang
Mm-mm.
nangyari nga sa atin, sa mga, hindi ko naman nilalahat, observation lang, this is personal,
Right.
ay, you know what surprises me? Pagka
Mm-mm.
nagtayo tayo ng bahay, bakit ba parang galit na galit tayo sa lupa? Gusto nating sementohin dahil ayaw natin maputikan ng ating paa, papasok sa
Right.
bahay. Siguro that's one. But there
Mm-mm.
is one thing that we are missing. Pagka umulan na to, walang medium para bumalik yung tubig sa dapat kalagyan niya sa ilalim po ng lupa. Kaya po
Right.
tayo nagbabaha.
Exactly.
Those are the learnings, very basic, that we need to again and again talk to all the stakeholders, small family holdings, farm holdings. And there is one more impact na to, na medyo sa tingin ko kailangan natin pag-isipan. Bakit karamihan sa amin na nagfa-farm, sa atin na nagfa-farm, hindi maiwan-iwanan ang farming, no matter how long the journey that we have been, because of the memories of our parents bringing us to the farm. We all would like to reminisce the good memories, and you always go back to yung pinagsamahan ninyo ng mga magulang ninyo na tinuturuan kayong magkurkur ng manok in the morning. And then, pagka wala kayong ulam, hindi kami pumupunta sa tindahan. Pumupunta kami sa pantry namin, sa backyard.
Sa backyard. Yes, that's right.
That should be sweet. And when we are able to educate the tiny stakeholders, the farmers, yung starting family, siguro mga 2 anak, then that starts the conversation ng tiny circular economy. And there is one, yung interactive impact, nakasama natin yung mga anak natin na nagkukultivate ng pechay, nag-harvest ng pinya, yung nilalagyan ng suka yung papaya. Ano ba yung mga kinain natin dito? Pagka naumpisahan natin sa mga bata, hindi na nila iiwan. My son is in the US. I have a 14-year-old son.
Yes.
Lumaki siya rito sa farm.
Ang galing naman.
The balance of his social, intellectual, IQ, ano ba yung mga adversity IQ, intellectual quotient,
multiple intelligences,
social,
right?
I think it starts, the fundamental of that starts when we do not forget to teach them how to take care of the environment, grow their own food. That happened to my son. His name is John.
John. Oh, okay. Yeah, you told us about him, no? Very, very interesting life story. So, right now, what we're having is this conversation about your journey and then your advocacy currently with the tiny circular economy. So, Noemi, we will go into a short break. And then when we come back, we will try to deepen our understanding of the tiny circular economy and what models can we manifest for the Philippines. No, kanina, we were already starting to discuss it. But maybe after the break, we'll have a much, much deeper discussion so our audiences can understand everything, no, and manifest this sustainable agriculture, what is it, and then of course how we can secure food for the country. And not just that, you were saying yung social development, social progress, how do you call it?
Social Progress
Social
Index.
Progress Index. It's a different perspective now, but of course later we will discuss that. We will go right into a break. When we come back again, ladies and gentlemen, we will have Miss Noemi Liangco again on the show. So see you in a while. Hello, welcome back. You're back on Para sa Bayan here on the new channel. Of course, don't forget to watch all our other shows. The new channel is an online alternative new media platform of online shows for people on the go. Please watch all our shows as seen on screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our channel is a responsible global 24/7 platform that showcases Filipino talent and, of course, cultural intelligence, global influencers, and ingenuity. So you can watch these shows on replay via Facebook or YouTube. Follow us on IG, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search hashtag TNC Now. For sponsorships, please email now at the new channel or send us a DM. Enjoy life-changing shows because we made them all for you. So, welcome back to the show. Earlier, we had Noemi Liangco of Amancio Nicolas Farms, and now we're having her back. So, let's have our guest back on the show. Thank you, Loimi, earlier. Thank you for being with us. Earlier, siguro just for a recap, we discussed your journey of course, as a scientist. Ganon, no? In agriculture, animal husbandry, also your journey into having your farm, the Amancio Nicolas farm, no? And then you have a training center, you have dairy production, and all these things. So also we discussed like what is the tiny circular economy and how can that help food security and sustainable agriculture. So maybe in your own words now, I'd like you to have this time to really discuss like how do you intend to help the country using your model in Amancio Nicolas Farms. First of all, what is the model you're using right now in Amancio Nicolas Farms, and how do you intend to cascade this into the greater good, ika nga? Kasi you have a gem in that farm, no? It's really just a matter of sharing this technology and sharing this advocacy uh, to really help sabi mo nga the 80% of our countrymen. So please tell us more about your advocacy.
Currently, the farm is a house for learning of farmers via TESDA, ATI, Agriculture Training Institute. We are also a seat for interns, or when I say seat, those
Yes.
graduating students from state universities in the region, even as
Mm-mm.
far as Bicol State
Mm-mm.
University, they've been here. We were
Mm-mm.
able to graduate through the years that we started this internship program, over 1,000 graduates. And we are currently working for the joint delivery ng DepEd, if you're familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Looking and moving forward, I think we have the traffic of people that we need to teach, we need to influence,
Yes.
because there is a very good program from the CHED and the DepEd to really
Mm-mm.
balance also the intellect or the learning of our students, both in high school and elementary, by
Okay.
incorporating this joint delivery and immersions program. But we would like to enhance further the delivery of these uh, programs by connecting internationally with our Asian neighbors. We need to benchmark with the good practices, the good programs, the curriculum also, TechVoc,
Yes.
and other competency-based training program they have actual,
Mm-hmm.
particularly in Indonesia, in Thailand, in Taiwan. We have those collaborators already.
Right.
So in order for us to be different in the
Mm-mm.
execution of these programs from the government, we already have a memorandum of agreement that these students coming in for interns, those who can afford, can also learn from our ASEAN neighbor. It's particularly at the Medyo University
Yes.
International College, also at
Mm-mm.
the Raja Mada, Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
Universitas Raja Mada, Indonesia. Kagagaling ko
Yeah.
lang doon last
Okay.
week. So there's a lot to dream and there's
Mm.
a lot of potential of agriculture, of the current programs of the government synchronized with the activities that we are having here at the farm. There is one more that
Mm-mm.
uh, is being done here at the farm. We bravely partnered and collaborated with the Department of Agriculture, Philippine Carabao
Okay.
Center. And we are now supplying the feeding program milk
Mm-mm.
requirements of school children here in Region 2. When we are able to transfer yung
Yes.
nakikita namin na significance ng farming, which it should be here in our
Right.
country because sabi ko nga, resources, geographics,
Yeah.
what we have, we are an agriculture country.
Correct.
We need to balance lang when we are looking for a perfect balance between consumerism and production. Fundamentally, we are at the best place, our
Mm-hmm.
country, the Philippines.
Yes.
Ang generation lang natin ngayon, Nato,
Mm-mm.
we need to again magnify, uh, help me how to adjectivize the
Yes.
way I would like to describe. We need
Mm-mm.
to bring the human resource, our next generation. We need to, yung agawin ang attention nila sa mga social
Yes.
media, na pansinin nyo naman kami dito sa agriculture. Give it
Right.
a loving attention. Give it a loving, the way they love TikTok, the way they
Yeah.
love,
The technologies, no?
I'm jealous about how our uh, millennials or the next generation are putting attention to social media. I'm
Yeah.
jealous that even just a fraction of that love and attention, when they listen to us, when they
Mm-mm.
come and believe and decide, I think the right word na kailangan natin i- i-magnify dito na to is a decision. They
Yeah.
need to decide to
Yung
give agriculture a chance.
but you're saying that there are successful models. Like, how are they doing it? How are they drawing the attention of the young people, like in Indonesia or in Thailand or in the other Asian neighbors that we have, who are members of the ASEAN? Paano nila ginagawa? How do they do it? What are their
Okay,
best practices that to attract the young people to go into agriculture?
okay.
Mm.
In Thailand, a 500 square meter land holding
Mm-mm.
family, they are already expected to model a tiny circular economy. They have
Okay.
chicken, they have rambutan, they do their own compost, hindi nila sinasabit-sabit yung mga, yung mga
Plastic.
plastic para kunin ng basurero. Yun
Mm.
ang nakita ko eh. Yung kanilang scrap kasi or basura is already food for the soil, food for the
Mm-mm.
chicken, food for the plants. I think we need to
Right.
go back to that basic. Kasi sa atin, nakasabit pa rin yung plastic eh, na
Mm-mm.
hinihintay hinihintay natin yung
Hindi
draft
pa
na offense
naka-segregate.
process, yung segregation. I
Mm.
think that responsibility and accountability of our own scrap or yung mga tira-tira natin is i-manage natin within our household and involve the children in the family. Kasi kung nanonood lang ng TV o lang yung mga bata habang si nanay ay nagtatanim, I do not see it working the way I've seen it work in the other
Other
countries. So that is
countries.
the
Oo.
500 square meter model. They have protein kasi may manok
Mm.
na sila. They have
Right.
eggs in the morning. And then there was this conversation na paano po yung sakit ng mga manok, halimbawa yung mga peste.
Mm.
Nato, the way I saw it in Thailand,
Yes.
kung malinis ang environment, kung healthy ang soil, healthy ang air, there's clean water because of that
Right.
management of the composts and the
Mm.
yung yung nagisnan natin na model ng farm household, hindi naman
Correct.
magkakasakit yung manok kasi
Mm.
mayroon dyan earthworm na magde-develop, yung tubig na galing sa taas pupunta sa baba, and then we have a healthy water to drink for human and the animals and plant. Now, next level, paano naman po yung may mga 1,000 square meter? Yun
Mm.
yung mga models na I'm asking our researcher to work with me right now. I'm trying to recruit researchers from
Right.
Luzon. That's
Oo.
the next episode if we have another
More
time to
time.
discuss. Yeah,
Yes.
the 1,000 square meter, pwede na natin yan bigyan ng kambing. So meron ng dairy component. I-add mo
Okay.
yung 500 kasi yung 500 medyo ano yan baboy lang na native at saka
Manok.
native na manok, just enough
Yeah.
to keep the children busy and all that. The
Mm.
1,000, pwede na tayong maglagay ng small ruminant. At yung
Right.
sinasabi natin na pag nag 1 hectare na yan, we have a model, bigyan na natin yan ng kalabaw. At doon iikot, the tiny circular economy would support another bigger economy. Yun na yung feeding program ng DAPCC. Nato, ang Pilipinas ay importer pa rin ng gatas. When
Correct.
we can do this model, the 500, 1,000, 1 hectare and above, 500 native pig, native baboy, plants,
Correct.
integration. 1,000, ipasok na natin si sheep, si goat, and then there
Correct.
is a practice dairy, something for the kids.
So
But the
for the
one,
5 hectares, you can actually include fisheries already.
including that, in everything na, integration. And in Thailand, isang indicator or impact assessment Nato, doon naglipa na yung farmers market in
Mhm.
every town. Doon
Yes.
naglipa na yung bago in my university, at my university, bago ka umuwi ng 5 p.m., nakasupot-supot na yung mga produce ng mga estudyante namin doon. 5 baht, 10 baht, nakasupot na yon. And that is also teaching the students to be an agripreneur. There's a lot that we can do. That will be our next research, and it will be done with other researchers, and it will be conducted at the Universitas Gadjah Mada in Indonesia. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Alam mo, you didn't tell us about the 500 square meters and the 1,000 hectare, the 1,000
1,000
square
square.
meters model. So, I'm hearing it from you now and I'm really getting very excited, no? Kasi
Yay.
this is really doable. I remember I was a agricultural consultant also for a city, a rural city in the northern Philippines, and we were trying to consolidate the 5 hectare land holdings into what we call agri-revolution. we Parang agri-revolution where we integrate it into bigger bigger modules, so production would be automated. But this model is actually very interesting because before, meron din kami mga dispersal. We were doing saso and crossbreed ng mga Anglo-Nubian goats. So we were teaching early morning grazing and stuff like that, no. So by education, I'm not an expert in animal husbandry, but because of my interest, also my grandparents or my grandfather was one of the pioneers in the Philippines. So parang, understanding from what you're saying, we really just need to pick up from the best practices of, you were saying, Thailand and Indonesia. And yun nga, yung sinasabing, kasi para ako hindi ko masyadong maintindihan yung tiny circular economy at first. Now when you're explaining it to me, now I'm getting it na in that small land holding, even as children pala, my lola, we were already practicing that. Kasi we lived in Cubao. She had mga gangsta and we had chickens and also may alaga kaming baboy. So we were getting eggs every day, so there was protein supply, and then we had this was 300 square meters in Cubao. This was in the 70s and this was in the 70s, so parang baby pa ako na. What I'm saying is, if it can be done in that manner and we multiply that into so many rural, even semi-urban households, imagine how people could really be, food security would really be there. And the nutritional needs would also be there. Then we don't need to import a lot of stuff like what's happening now.
You touch my heart by what you just said, Nato.
Yeah.
I would like to recruit a revolution of believers.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing magical about it. We have seen it. That's my that's what I'm jealous, short of word, about. Na why is it so hard to be talking about something that I have seen work? Why is it that when you talk about now of tiny circular economy and people like yung tayo, maalala, oo nga nung araw ganyan naman yung ginagawa namin. And I feel rewarded when I hear people or I heard what I heard from you just now.
Parang lang, Noemi, it's like a homecoming to what we used to do.
Yeah.
Diba? It's not, well, it's a theory, no? Tiny circular economy, but in reality, it has been our practice. Our lolos and lolas have been practicing it for the longest time. And it's just that somehow, somewhere in the commercialized capitalist world of ours now and consumer driven economy, we forgot, no?
Exactly.
And it's really just a homecoming. It's really just a going back to basic. And because yun naman ang nature, di ba?
Exactly.
It did itself. Wala namang mga plastic pa noon, wala namang mga balot ng candy. Everything was wrapped in that's what I appreciate. I mean, before we used to go home to Bohol, I'm from Pangasinan, but we used to go to Bohol every year. And we go to a place, it's a remote barangay, not really remote, but it's in Carmen, Bohol. So that's where Chocolate Hills is. So, di ba, yung mga tao, how they wrap the kakanin, how they prepare the food, it's really the tiny circular economy you're really talking about. And, anyway, you're our guest. I'm not the guest, I'm just the host. So, we're down to our, sayang, haba pa sana nitong discussion. We're down to our last 7 minutes. Please, Noemi, tell us what would you recommend to national government or even to the LGUs, or if they would listen, or even to private persons or small farmers, no, on how to really go back to basics, to that tiny circular economy of which is really, I don't know, going back to basics. Yes, please tell us.
Thank you, Nato. For all of
Mm.
us, um, ibig sabihin, to all of us na may isip na, if there
Mm-mm.
is one thing that I saw in the countries that I am also a resource person, the
Yes.
same topic, how I wish we have their level of respect of authorities or for
Mm.
authorities.
Mm-mm.
Pag sinabi ng leader that this is the plan ng integration of plants, animals, and we all do this. We all do our compost. No offense meant because I love my country or else wala kaming mag-asawa dito.
Yes.
They comply before they complain. Sa atin kasi ang daming complain
Yeah.
bago mag-comply. At bago natin maisip, tapos na naman ang isang araw or termino.
Right. Correct.
And to the I'm getting a bit broken as I was about to say this. I might be speaking on a personal basis,
Yes.
pero wala naman talagang financial institution
Na
na very
tumutulong.
kind to us. Wala
Mhm.
naman. Kung
Mm.
nakikinig sila, siguro correct me by coming to us.
Mm.
At kung kami ang tutulungan ninyo, hindi kayo magsisisi.
Mm. Right,
Try.
right. Mm. Oo
And
nga,
to
eh, 'no?
our leaders who in your hands and disposal the power to execute. When we think of the welfare of our people, hindi ako nagmamagaling,
Yes.
pero kung tapunan ninyo kami ng pagmamahal dito sa agrikultura, hindi lang
Mm.
naman po yung laman ng tiyan ang ina-address natin dito. We
Yes.
are addressing nature. We are addressing environment. Nato, we are
Exactly.
addressing health. Because by the time what we eat, alam natin kung saan
We are what we eat.
we are what we eat. That's right. And we are also what we do with what we eat. I would like to insert that verb na kung kumakain lang din tayo, hindi natin alam ibalik sa next generation the good impact of what we are doing. We are also what we do with what we eat. I would like to insert that verb. And kami ni Jojo, my husband in the US,
Mm.
we are very passionate
Mm.
in making sure that itong gift na binigay sa amin ng Panginoon will be handed down to the next generation. May I mention also
Yes.
a sermon from Bishop Baron, our
Okay.
mentor also,
Yes.
uh, his quote regarding Bishop Carl George of Chicago.
Mhm.
Ang sinabi ni Bishop Carl George in a meeting with the wealthy in New York, I hope I have time, I will make it short.
Sure,
Sinabihan
sure.
niya
Go
yung
ahead.
mga mayayaman, you
Mm.
rich people, you need the poor for you to get rid of hell. And
Mhm.
you, people swimming in poverty, you need the rich people for you to get out of poverty. You need to cooperate with them. You need their help. And there
Yeah.
is one thing more. The only thing that you can get to heaven with you is what you're going to live while you are here on earth. I think that mantra or
Yeah.
that faith
Mm.
is covering me and my husband. That's why
Mm.
uh,
Amen.
you hear me very
Mm.
passionate in
Oo.
talking about tiny circular economy,
Yes.
agriculture, sustainable, good governance, what have
Mhm.
you. And
Yes.
this mission, Nato, is very hard. It's not a red carpet journey.
True, true.
We eat rejections every day.
Yeah.
We eat trials every day. That
Mhm.
is our diet, and well and good. Kami kasi ni Jojo, if we know what we are up to, then we will not question it. So
Okay.
we all should know the price
Yeah.
to pay when you join yung journey natin
Right.
towards this thing that I'm talking about, the
Yeah.
tiny circular economy.
I
Let us
see.
bring that conversation to the table na to.
True,
Immaterial.
true.
Kung
Oo.
ilan yung makikinig sa atin ngayon. I'm
Yes.
very grateful to be hearing your input tonight.
Yeah.
Uh,
Alam mo,
so reward.
yeah, thank you so much for that. No, we have very little time, but I'd like to say just to be this is what Para sa Bayan is all about. We started this show very simply. We started to invite nation builders, no? I mean, they don't have that label. They're a nation builder. In fact, just like you, they've been encountering rejection. Minsan parang voice in the wilderness. So here in Para sa Bayan, we want to have that venue where we can discuss and we can help people or advocates really advocate nation building. So right now, what we're discussing is, no, when we were direct, medyo extend lang akong konti.
Direct
Alam mo,
overtime!
when we were in the farm, I did not really, I was trying to absorb, and Joey told me, Nato, sige, sleep over it, and things like that. So right now in our conversation, what comes out is really, natawa si Direk, sige po, ha ha ha. 2 minutes na, 2 minutes. At the end of the day, this is the last episode of Para sa Bayan for this season. And we have had nation builders coming to this show. Maybe we have 100 viewers, maybe sometimes less. We've had 1,000 viewers. But the point of the show is, if you believe in something and you think yung sinasabi mo na for the poor to get out of hell, they need the rich people.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, isn't it something good that uh, people who have the know-how and who have some form of financial capacity help those people, help empower all those people. How many are poor? We are a growing economy, but still the poor is there, and of course the political will of government is still, um, you know there's so much to be desired, if I may term it that. We've been fighting this struggle since we were students. And to me, I think this show, the struggle continues with people like you, with people like Ed De La Torre, Carl Balita, all the guests that we've had here, Bernadette Herrera, all those people. No, they're in their own way, they're trying to build a country, and that to me is now we've had this discussion on air, and my realization is that um, the only way we would lose in this advocacy is if we stop. So we shouldn't stop. In fact, we should document it, and the best practices in Indonesia, in Thailand, should be brought here, really, really discussed among our young people in the agricultural colleges. There are still many young people who are interested in agriculture, and modernizing it, maybe coming up with a new value chain using technology as well with it. So, hindi ka nag-iisa, Noemi. So, you have us
Oh,
here in Para sa Bayan and TNC. And hopefully, if we have the opportunity, we will invite you again to season 3 for the continuation of this discussion. But offhand, we'd like to thank you for coming over to the show. I know you're in Isabela, so wala nang distance. So thank you for giving us this insight for this last episode for the season. So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our sustainable agriculture advocate and tiny circular economy advocate, Noemi Liangco. You will see more of her and you will know more about her advocacies in the future, hopefully here in TNC and in other platforms. So, Noemi, thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the last episode of for this season. We'll be back next season. We will just have a season break and then we will continue with the better, bigger para sa bayan for all of you. God bless everyone. Balik tayo
Thank,
agriculture. Balik
thank,
tayong tiny circular economy. It's the only way our country will
thank you
uh,
for saying that.
yes, will survive this. Will survive this crisis that we're having. Okay, that's about all the time we have. Thank you, Noemi. Thank you, viewers. God bless everyone. See you on the next hashtag para sa bayan here on the new channel. Bye-bye. Good
Bye
night.
bye. Thanks.